this meeting to order. Join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Mayor Lindsay.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Howe.
Here.
Councilman Humbert. Not here. Councilman Weeks.
Here.
Councilman Crane.
Here.
We have a quorum. We can continue.
I would ask at this time to get a motion for the approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to get a motion to approve the consent agenda, which consists of the minutes from the March 28, 2024 meeting.
Make a motion to approve consent agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
At this time, I would invite anybody to have any comments not pertaining to this agenda. This is Boyd.
Mayor, council. First, I'd just like to say I really appreciate the use of Facebook for the village. I know Facebook can be a real double-edged sword, but we have such a need for communication here, particularly the Better Than the Post Office site. There isn't anybody who hasn't put on I have a flat tire, I need to know where I can air it up, you know. It's our means of communication. And I just want to say thank you for the way this administration uses it. However, I don't know who does it. I don't know what guidelines there are in place. But there was a recent communication where some of the comments disappeared. I know I took some of mine off because it was causing more of a problem than it was a solution, and I just cut my losses and deleted them. But there were some that were deleted or hidden, and they're no longer there. And so some of us got together, and since this is a public forum that you're using, there are some specific guidelines about Facebook usage and qualifications and repercussions. And so since the administration is new and the process is new, we just felt it might be a good idea for you to take a look at some of those things and, if possible, reinstate the comments that were either hidden or deleted. So this is just a packet of information that I hope helps, but it's terrific. And it's very much appreciated.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I'd just like to add that, I feel like we're just getting by and can do a lot better. And our goal is to do much better. We actually just had a discussion with Greg Ralph, who is our tourism director, and his early in his career, he was a PR director. And we're just trying to find someone that can be our central voice to that point. I will say, on a personal note, that I ultimately just deleted the app because, as you said, it's got a lot of great qualities, but it ultimately became a huge distraction. And for that reason, I'd almost encourage posts like this, not for lack of communication with the community, but for just to bring it all together, turning the comments off from the beginning. If you have questions or concerns, you can always reach out to Village Hall directly. I'll state this for anybody that wants to know. As much that goes on Facebook, and I might as well have it because people still send me the screenshots, people, friends, people that are concerned about things. But I can count on one hand the number of people that have reached out to me in the last 100 days. And I've had some fingers left over. If they truly want to know, Kurt Epler is a great source of information regarding posts like this. Manager Weir, please feel free to reach out to myself. Quite frankly, I can get some more clarification on this, but this was just a requirement that this post be made.
Well, and sometimes, and it's like I said in one of my posts, an explanation, whether it's an introduction of one sentence before the posting. But there have been times, particularly from the work session with the speeding on San Mateo, that sort of thing. I don't know if you know Kim May, and there are times when I've sent Kim a message and said, can you post this on the out-of-state owners Facebook page? Because we can't,
Right, we're not
post
on
on
that page.
but yet there are owners from out of state who need to know some of the information. So it's a double-edged sword.
No, definitely, and I think it's very important that we use it and use it effectively. We're also we're gonna strive to get the informational sign up in front of Village Hall. We wanna do as much as we can to communicate with the public, especially when it comes to water and power outages. We'd like to be able to effectively put Mr. Epler's road repair schedule up so people can expect closures. I mean, there's a lot of things. It's just, right now, we're not, I wouldn't say a skeleton crew at the village, but everybody's
It's
pulling
new.
double duty.
Absolutely.
And, we definitely just wanna, we know we can improve it, and we're doing what we can, and we know we can do better.
But it's a good start,
Thank you.
and it's very much appreciated.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If I could just, one quick clarification, and I agree with Mayor Lindsay about the comments, but one of the things that I think will happen is the village will make a post, and that post will then get shared. As you mentioned, there's an out-of-state
Right.
homeowners board
Right.
that are the posts. If those are shared, those, and I'm not saying that's what happened here, but if comments, those boards are independently, managed and moderated.
Absolutely.
So
But this
this
was
one was-
the village.
It was the
post.
village post. That's
Yes.
all the
For
clarification I
that
want.
reason, I'm gonna discourage having to comment on it all on the village, and I think that, as Jake preferred,
And then the
Councilor
post,
Crane.
if it's shared,
If shared somewhere else and they want to
go nuts.
go nuts.
yeah, then it's another administrator's.
Somebody else's problem.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Excuse me, ma'am, your name?
Jackie
Jackie Boyd.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, I think you mentioned it.
I don't know everybody like
I
you.
think isn't that JACQUE?
Anybody else have anything for us this evening? If not, we can move on to any announcements or proclamations by the council. Anybody have anything for us? Then we'll move on to staff reports. I don't know that we have anything slated for today.
Doesn't look like any committees either.
No committees on hand today. We're just getting right through this. No old business, we'll move into new business. This time I'd ask for a motion for discussion action RFP 2024-002 for on-call engineering services.
I'll make a motion for discussion / action RFP 2024-002 on-call engineering services.
I'll second.
Manager Weir, Would you like to take the lead on, in Julie's absence?
Give me just 1 second. I guess I'll really toss it up. Mr. Mayor, Council, yes, we are required to go out for a on-call engineer every 4 years. And so this is just a process. There will be a committee formulated by our chief procurement officer, who right now is Julie Culhand. And we'll go out. The bid's actually being advertised tomorrow. And on the Dallas News, we'll have an end date come back in the second part of May. We'll ask people to give it, quotes and proposals. We'll assign a committee of people that will review the proposals. They will then score each of the people that submit a proposal. And then from those scores, a recommendation will be made to the council for who our ongoing on-call engineer is going to be with, which firm. So it's a process that, again, happens every 4 years. It can happen more frequently, but it has to happen at least every 4 years.
Any other questions for the member here? Okay. We're good. I think we're ready for a vote.
We have a motion and a second for the action to go out with an RFP 2024-002 on-call engineering. Mr. Howe?
Aye.
Mr. Humbert is absent. Mr. Weeks?
Aye.
Mr. Crane?
Aye.
Pass.
Okay. Moving on to item B, discussion action proposal for 23 miscellaneous repair costs for SBR/WWTF.
I'll make a motion for discussion/action, proposal 23, miscellaneous repair cost for SBR/WWTF.
I'll second.
So Manager Weir, I understand that this work's actually already been completed.
That's correct.
This should have come to council prior.
Talk on it.
Mr. Epler?
Yes, when we got the actual paperwork on the change order proposal, deadline had passed to get it on the agenda for council. And then again, last week with it being delayed, a bit of history, it was discovered in the wastewater treatment facility project that some of the existing electrical equipment had issues. It was not discovered in the pre-design work that had to be done for functionality. And this was, if memory serves me correct, it was early November that this need for additional work was brought to the attention of the village with the Village of Angel Fire. And the manager of the water department at that time was given a ballpark estimate of $35,000 to $40,000 for the cost. And when they got into the project, more and more things came up, and it ended up being significantly more than that. Should be noted that I did ask the question when I questioned the difference from the initial ballpark figure, and it was explained that they really had no way of knowing exactly what it was going to cost before doing this work. I then conveyed that they should have communicated to us when it was discovered that it was going to be significantly more. But with that said, it was work that was absolutely necessary to be done. There's no indication that any of the charges are illegitimate. And as you mentioned, the work has been done, and we're just seeking approval.
Can you state for the folks in attendance and the council the amount that it ultimately did come to?
The exact number was 75,000 and change. I'm sorry, it wasn't.
73,000.
73, thought it was 75.
I don't remember the exact. It's in your packet.
Do you have any Anybody have any additional questions for Mr. Epler? Mr. Rowe?
Action on proposal 23 miscellaneous repair costs, SBR WWTF. Mr. Howe,
Aye.
Mr. Weeks,
Aye.
Mr. Crane,
Aye.
pass.
Moving on to item C, discussion action resolution 2024-22 Westside SCADA system.
I'll make a motion for discussion and approval of resolution 2024-22 Westside SCADA system.
I'll second.
Mr. Epler, would you like to speak on this item?
Yes. What the SCADA system is it's a system that allows us to monitor different components or parts of our water system, tank levels, line pressures, booster station status, status of the wells themselves that supply the water system. It also gives us the ability to control those components, turn pumps on and off, turn booster stations on and off to get water from one tank to the next. It also has a system to warn us if there's an issue from, you'll see in the packet, from low tank levels, low water pressure, loss of electricity, loss of communication, many things that are very, a lot of information that's very important to know. Yeah.
Currently, that's all been done manually, correct?
Manually. It should be understood that part of the daily routine of our water department is it's generally 2 guys or 2 crews doing what we call the rounds. One crew will take the west side of the road, the other take the east. And they literally go up, go to the tanks, climb the tanks, stick a measuring tape down, measure the water level. Okay. And then they determine, well, if this tank is low, we need to go down and turn on a booster pump to get some more water up here. Okay. Or turn on the main well. And all of the everything is done manually, turning on the booster pump. Okay. And then having to determine, okay, we want to run that booster pump for X number of hours. So we don't overfill the tank, or we get enough water in there. These daily activities take till 10 o'clock in the morning on a good day. That's when there's no snow and they don't have to walk to the tanks and so forth and so on. So there's a tremendous amount of man hours dedicated to just these manual activities. Okay. Now, an important part of being able to make this system available beyond just giving us information of what the tank levels are per se, but to have the ability to set parameters, basically when a tank gets to a certain level, have a pump automatically turn on and keep it supplied with water. This SCADA system will enable us to do that. Part of us being able to do that requires the upgrade of all of the electrical components within the pump houses. Many of them are antiquated at best. Okay, very outdated. So the biggest portion of this expense here, 3/4 of it, actually more than that, is the upgrade of the electrical panels and the starters to enable this system to automatically run itself, basically. One other thing that I want to add that this gives us is the ability to, one, convey information to the community when we have an issue, to know who's going to start running out of water. Instead of waiting till they run out, we can say, okay, we've got an issue, we've got a tank level dropping, we're not able to supply the tank above it, to give warning to those people that, to prepare for it, to conserve water, everything that we need to do. It's just a great tool that is not just going to make the water department more effective. I think it's going to give us much better ability to keep the public informed when there's an issue. The ultimate goal is to get all of our water system components on the SCADA system. And this is the start. And like I said, the biggest portion of the expense is the upgrade of the electrical components, starter cabinets, and the VFDs installed. Everything that's going to enable us to control the water system, have it working more efficiently, and the control of the water system will be able to be done from a phone or a tablet. It is not server based. It's done through the cloud. It's all cellular based. With our new phone system that we're going to, it will have priority cell service, so it won't be a case where we can't control our water system because the cell service is bad because we've got a bunch of people up here. Yeah, it's I think it'll be a great thing.
I know I don't know if you've done the math, but it's obvious that this will pay for itself in a very short period of time based on the man hours that's currently being used. You'll see everything in real time, and there's no risk of anyone losing a job over it's not going to be replaced. They're going to be able to perform more tasks, more repairs, more pertinent, more work, quite frankly.
Absolutely. This is not going to reduce staff any. It's going to enable them to do more things. As it stands, more often than not, when there's a task, whether it's putting in a water meter or working, trying to repair a broken line or a water line or something, in most cases, it's 10 o'clock before they can even start work. Okay, so this is going to enable us to do things that have not been able to be done in the past in as effective of a manner. We're essentially going to be able to have our people working instead of checking tanks. There is another aspect to it that the wear and tear that the village vehicles encounter driving a lot of these roads, and then the challenges of when we have a snow that's of sufficient depth that they can't make it on the roads. It's a tough situation.
And you're just bringing it into the 21st century.
Yes, sir.
Right. And then the other question would be, like, when we do have a water break or something like that, is there a way we can measure the water loss and then record that? And is there any benefit to that as far as measuring our water consumption and say, well, we didn't really consume this. This was part of water loss.
It can be an estimation, but to determine exactly what you're losing from the leak, you also need to know what's being used through the meters at that time. The new meters we're going to be getting are going to definitely help us get a much more accurate number of how much water we lose from a leak or two leaks that are existing.
So we started talking about doing this years and years ago and didn't have the money. So I'm really happy that we're now able to get it started.
Well, and not only do we currently do have the money, but I mean, I don't want to poo-poo the amount off, but it's not a significant amount of money for what it achieves.
Right.
Everyone has packets. Do we want to state that for the record,
I
the
think-
amount and the,
Approximately a ballpark number to outfit the Westside with the SCADA system, including electrical upgrades.
It's $210,000.
and the estimated completion will be,
Probably end of July.
and then I
That's pretty
assume
good.
there will need to be, to come back to the east side as well to do that after this side is done, after the west side's done.
Yes, I have already asked for a proposal for the SCADA system and panel upgrades on tank 7, which, as you know, we're getting a new tank 7 work to start beginning of May. There are dollars available because the bid for the project came in under with the funds available. So I feel we'll be able to get tank 7 addressed. But I have in the budget for this next year, the SCADA for the east side as well. Now, one thing that should be understood is that we do want to do these electrical upgrades, but I've also discovered that a lot of the buildings, most of them that house the booster pumps, are in an extreme state of disrepair. They were built between 1981 and 1984. And so if there's anything that could slow up the process of getting the Westside SCADA fully functional, is that we may be redoing the building also. Now, I've spoke with Brian Abeta, with the company that we're working with on SCADA, about a scenario where we can get the panels in and operational and still essentially be able to build around them. And he thinks it's doable. We just haven't got to the specific planning stages yet.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is a vote on approving resolution 2024-22 Westside SCADA system. Mr. Howe?
Aye.
Mr. Weeks?
Aye.
Mr. Crane?
Aye.
Pass.
Moving on to item D, discussion action for resolution 2024-23, various budget adjustment requests, known as BARs.
Make a motion for discussion / action, resolution 2024-23, various budget adjustment requests.
I'll second it.
Okay, we do have it in our packet, but I am relying on Manager Weir to give us a breakdown of the various budget adjustment requests.
Mr. Mayor, I think if you'll turn to page 67 in your packet, we have resolution 24-23. And so just for the new members, if you don't know, budget adjustment request, if we're moving money between line items within a fund and it doesn't change the fund balance, it's not required to come to council, it's not required to go to DFA. But anything that does change a fund balance is required to first be approved by council. Then it's submitted as part of our quarterly report to DFA for approval by DFA. So for this quarter ending March 31st, we have 3 adjustments that are going to require DFA approval. They are in your packet. One of them was a adjustment for furniture for this council members only office that we're going to be putting desk in. So that council member, we're only putting 2 desks, so you can't have a quorum in there. But we're going to put 2 desks. We're also, the back part of it where the desk won't be, we'll put shelves and use it for additional storage, primarily interim storage while we're doing remodeling, which we'll talk about in the next agenda item. And then some furniture for the mayor's office and the table for this area here. We're going to, with the remodel, what's now the break room would be gutted. And we're going to put a larger table in there and some things for, and use that as a meeting room. So this is for that furniture, and we just didn't have any significant money budgeted. The furniture has not been purchased yet, since it's not a time-sensitive issue. I wanted to get the bar approved on that before we actually went in and purchased. We have opened a PO for it, but we haven't actually made the purchase yet. The second item is for the Code 3 MK43 software that the police department purchased. This is software that the prior administration approved the purchase of, but the purchase was approved, but there was no money in the police department budget for that. It's a $55,000 purchase. So the expenditure was approved, but there was no money, so this is simply a bar to cover that purchase. And the final thing is that there were revenue that was made by the village at the last Balloons Over Angel Fire event. Revenue from sponsorships. That revenue was posted to lodger's tax, and that's not a proper posting. That type of revenue should be posted to the general fund. And I mean, we can post it as revenue for the tourism department, but it should be posted under the general fund. So the third one is simply moving the revenue out of lodger's tax and into the general fund, where we didn't previously have a GL account set up for that type of revenue. And that's all it's doing. It's just moving the money from the lodger's tax fund into the general fund under tourism.
Any questions for Manager Weir?
Action to approve resolution 2024-23, various BAR budget adjustment requests. Mr. Howe,
Aye.
Mr. Weeks,
Aye.
Mr. Crane,
Aye.
pass.
Okay, now we can move on to item E, discussion action, appointment of the Trails Committee members. The members I have for this motion were submitted by Councilor Weeks, and would be Christine Smith, Chris Sorensen, John Cormack, Lenny Natter, Matt Billingsley, Natina Valati.
Make a motion to approve discussion / action appointment of Trails Committee members.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
So these members, several of them are on what's it called? Can't remember.
Comprehensive?
No, Till is on the comprehensive board, but they're on the
Parks and
trekkers.
Rec?
They're on the trekkers.
Oh, the Moreno
You know,
Valley Truckers.
Moreno Valley Trekkers, and then I think at least one of them was on the prior, because we did have a Trails Committee before, and bringing it back.
Glad to have the volunteers. I wish we had as many volunteers for our roads and infrastructure.
This one, people have different motivations, and this one's a little less controversial.
Our roads might be trails if we don't, but they may have
It's
to.
a solid matter the way you say it, right?
All right. If there's not any other discussion, I'll take it to the.
Action to appoint the Trails Committee members as stated. Mr. Howe,
Point of order, so before you go, did you also have to declare the councilman as liaison as part of it?
Oh, I apologize. I'd like to offer Jeff Weeks, appoint Jeff Weeks as the liaison to the Trails Committee.
all right, you get a special note there. We have a motion and a second to approve the appointment of the Trails Committee members, including Mr. Weeks being the liaison for the council. Mr. Howe,
Aye.
Mr. Weeks,
Aye.
Mr. Crane,
Aye.
pass.
Okay. At this time, we'll look at item F, discussion action, Angel Fire, New Mexico Volunteer Ambassador Program.
So, Mr. Mayor, Council, this is a request.
We get a motion.
Make a motion for discussion action Angel Fire New Mexico Volunteer Ambassador Program.
I'll second.
Manager Weir.
Mr. Mayor, Council, this is a grant that the Fire Adaptive Committee is applying for. It basically, and I think the grant application is in your packet. And it's $75,000 for an ambassador. And basically, this ambassador's job would be to communicate fire readiness, appropriate lot clearing and fuel abatement and those types of things to our community members. So there'll be holding classes and so on. They'll also do some work with other government agencies in relation to fire prevention.
So I did have a question on this. Does it have to be a employee or can it be done free of contract? Or will we only know that after the award?
I do not know the answer to that for this grant specifically. But I do know that there are other similar grants that you can use the money on a contract or employee basis that are similar and that not for, again, not this grant, but for other similar type grants that it can be either contract or an employee basis.
Okay.
So I would assume that it's that way for this one, but I'll be honest, I don't know for sure.
Thank you.
Mike Overby was not able to make it today, and he would know the answer to that, so we can follow up.
And so they can be somebody, when you get ready to thin your lot, they can consult with, they can physically go out to their lot to consult with them.
So it depends. I mean, if the person doesn't have the expertise, I don't think we envision that person being the one to consult with on thinning your lot. I think that would probably be someone from our wildland team or from our fire department. I think this person is going to be more of a liaison, following up and interacting with the community and trying to motivate people to proactively thin their lots, things of that nature.
And not that it couldn't be that person.
It could be that person if you hired somebody with that skill set. They would need to be probably somebody with some sort of fire and
Forestry background.
background. So it could be, but I think primarily it's public education is the driving force behind this.
They have a vote to establish the Angel Fire New Mexico Volunteer Ambassador Program. Mr. Howe?
Aye.
Mr. Weeks?
Aye.
Mr. Crane?
Aye.
Pass.
Moving on to item G, discussion action, approve an RFP for village hall remodel.
So,
Hold on a second.
I will say, I know our manager is also commissioner of the county, and they do things in a different order than we do. So you gotta cut him a little slack. Mayor Pro Tem Howe, if we could get a motion.
I make a motion for discussion/action approval RFP Village Hall remodel.
I'll second.
Manager Weir.
Mayor, Council, so in July 12th of 2019, the village received a loan from NMFA to remodel this building. We had engineering work done in 2019. Basically, November, December timeframe, it was completed. We were short of some electrical work that was needing to be finalized, or engineering, I should say, that needed to be finalized. We were ready to move forward. We actually received the loan. Everything was ready to go. And then we had a change in leadership at the village in 2020. And basically that loan was never utilized and not followed up on because it is a loan that was financed by NMFA through bond sales. There's a time limit on the usage of the money. And when I came on board, or in February, I was contacted by NMFA and informed that we have until July 12th of this year to spend the money, or we have to refund it. Now we actually have the money. It's physically, they gave it to us since it was a loan. And we've been paying for 4 years. We've been paying loan payments on it. We've been paying interest back. And we've actually spent some of the money on engineering work, like I said. And what I'm asking you to do now is to simply follow through. We had the preliminary engineering work reviewed by an architect. The architect did actual stamp diagrams that we could take out to bid, and this is allowing us to take this out to bid. I will also inform the council that after we started the work to go out to bid, we were approached by a CES construction provider that actually recently started a business here in the valley, Alaska Construction. I didn't realize that they were CES and in the valley. Since then, they've actually come and reviewed, and we were hoping to have a proposal from them tonight. If we did choose to use them, then we wouldn't have to go through with the RFP process. But the timing was just too tight, and they couldn't run all the numbers. Because they're CES, there's a very specific process they have to go through and get approval, use the CES software to prepare the bid, get approval and so on before they can go out to a bid. One of the outstanding questions was prevailing wages required. I didn't get an answer from bond counsel until about 3 o'clock today. And that wasn't enough time for Alaskan Construction to go back into the CES system and turn around the bid. But I am anticipating getting a bid to them. I may be asking the council to have a special meeting if we want to address that bid through CES so that we can cancel the RFP if that bid is sufficient for the council. And the reason I would ask you to do that is because of the timing, because we need to spend this money by July 12th. So actually, I called MFA asking for an extension. Apparently the prior administration got 2 extensions, which is all the contract calls for. So I think it was originally supposed to been spent within 3 years, and they got 2 one-year extensions, and the contract doesn't allow for any further extensions. They told me we can't tell you that the NMFA board won't give you another extension, but it's not their usual practice. It's not likely. So they recommended we try to spend the money as quickly as we can. And if we don't spend the money, we're basically going to have to pay the loan back with interest and incur those fees and see nothing out of it.
How much money have we spent of that already?
About $100,000 of the original $760,000 that the loan was for.
Is there a description of what the remodel was going to entail?
The diagrams are over here. We've been working on this for several days. We've been working on this for since January. But basically, the primary thing that the remodel is going to focus on is, again, changing this into a meeting room from a break room, moving the break room into this records room, turning this whole area into a records room here. That's going to contain virtually the majority of the records for the village. And then on the other side of the building, reconstructing the walls over there to include better office space for the finance department and moving the entire finance department to that side of the building.
Any exterior?
There will be exterior. It also includes replacing the decking in front with a cement slab and stuccoing the entire exterior of the building.
So, Mr. Manager, at one point, there was concern about those beams. How'd that turn out?
So structurally, this beam is sound. This is what was falling wasn't the beam itself. It's just, what's that called? That's a fur down. So it's basically covering to make that look good. The beams are structurally sound. It's been in the building. The beams have been inspected. We did look at having this pulled out and having a single beam to span this space, but the cost of that was significant. So we opted not to do that. So we're not going to replace this beam, and this is currently structurally sound. It's more aesthetics that don't look. This will also include replacing all of the lights with LED lights in the entire building. And all the baseboards will also be replaced. They're saying
The
that
baseboard heaters.
the electricity will be cut in half with the newer baseboards.
So the issue with the lighting is it's all fluorescent. Fluorescent, it's hard to get ballast, it's even hard to get bulbs at this point. Everything's going to LED. Another item on the remodel is there's not much work to be done, but the planning and zoning department will have an entrance on the southwest corner, so the public can interact directly with planning and zoning. But yeah, it's not, unfortunately, that amount of money doesn't go a real long way, but I think that we're gonna stretch it as far as we can, and just keep this place, try to get a little more energy efficient and a little more functional.
Well, Mr. Manager, as long as you're willing to sit right there. I trust what you say.
Well, I will say this, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, that the mayor had these brackets installed within about a week of being mayor. So after those were installed, I felt much better.
Okay.
One other thing, just so you know, currently we're out of compliance with ADA standards. We don't have a handicap restroom in this building, and we're required to have two. So this restroom here and the one next to the next to P&Z, what's P&Z now, where Santos is, that restroom will be converted into handicap accessible bathrooms.
Any other questions or discussion?
Vote to approve the RFP Village Hall remodel. Mr. Howe,
Aye.
Mr. Weeks,
Aye.
Mr. Crane,
Aye.
pass.
Moving on to item H, discussion action, task order 2024-02, replace Agua Fria well number 2.
Make a motion for discussion/action, task order 2024-02, replace Agua Fria well number 2.
I'll second.
Mr. Epler?
So what this is for is the engineering, design, permitting, and project management for the redrilling Agua Fria well number 2, which, as you recall, before President's Weekend, had a failure. It's in the packet, what these estimates cost, or I'm sorry, what these estimates cover, and the design phase, but also the services during the construction phase. They also handling the permitting process to get the relocation well permit done. Now, in previous discussion of what it was going to cost to replace this well, we'd given a cost estimate of over $100,000. That is what, the ballpark figure we got from the well driller to do the actual drilling of the well. Understanding now that a well that supplies municipal drinking water has to be engineered and monitored through the whole construction phase, if you will. So with this, you can see the cost for design phase services, $64,000, and the construction phase services, $88,000. $100,000 of this can be paid out of capital appropriations as an option. And obviously it's the well has to be redone. So I do want to note that the existing well that we had the failure on that was drilled in 2004 was not in compliance. There were issues with the well itself. One thing, for instance, was top 40 feet of steel casing needed to be concrete sealed, and there was only 20 feet of steel casing that was sealed. The well driller was surprised that it hadn't been spotted. So sometimes, good things, if you can think of it, come out of tragedy.
Silver lining.
We needed a new well back there.
Concrete. Yeah.
Was there any determination, is there any assistance or anything from obviously it was not that old of a well and obviously out of compliance. I know there's not a lot of well drillers to choose from in remote northern New Mexico, but no recompense, I guess, for what happened to the old well out of the company that was working with it, or all of this cost is gonna be borne by the village?
Unfortunately, the well driller that drilled the initial well passed away some years ago.
Any other questions or comments? Clerk Grote?
Vote to approve task order 2024-02 to replace the Agua Fria well number 2. Mr. Howe?
Aye.
Mr. Weeks?
Aye.
Mr. Crane?
Aye.
Pass.
At this time, I would ask for a motion to move into executive session per NMSA 10-15-1H-2 concerning a pending legal matter, and I would like to invite Clerk Grote to join the council and manager.
I make a motion to move into executive session per NMSA 10-15-1H-2 to discuss pending legal issues with village clerk Grote invited to attend.
I'll second.
Point of order, is that a roll call vote or
It
a,
is a roll call.
okay? Move into executive session with the clerk invited. Mr. Howe?
Aye.
Mr. Weeks?
Aye.
Mr. Crane?
Aye.
Pass.
Dennis, do you have that file?
It's nice to meet you. Thanks for everything you do here tonight.
Well, like.
Yeah, no, I have one officer is leaving me. The other one is over here. Trying to. And then, yeah, so I'll just be me, Tom, and maybe. There is another guy that's interested. I'm hoping I can get him here into May.
Awesome.
So.
Awesome.
That would be amazing. But yeah, no, I did want to talk to you real quick. When you were over there helping out with that one situation, I was trying to talk her into basically giving up some information, right? And so I had her at a certain level, and then you came over and were like, "Hey, I need to sign." That really interrupted like where I was at. I had to start over like 3 times. So just next time, yeah, like next time you say, "Hey, like catch me out of my eye," and I'll let you yay or nay. Because yeah, she's difficult to deal with. I just spoke with her today actually.
Is that our patient yesterday?
No.
Oh, Rockies. Yeah, no, yeah.
And so I was just like, oh my God. Yeah. So just so you're aware, whenever I'm trying to work with an individual, trying to get them to give up information, it takes, I think, there's certain like stress and then release that stress and stress, release that stress. And if they're focused on anything else, and the other lady was there too, she interrupted a couple times, so that's why I stayed with her.
Yeah, I wouldn't even messed with it, other than the fact that we got that other call during it. And technically, it was abandonment, so I had to get in there to get my eyes on her, just to make sure you were all right and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I had to be persistent on that one. I would have sat in my truck all day if I didn't have to leave that call, go back to that one. So
Okay.
it was something that.
That's one of those situations.
I know. I'm sorry.
You always, come to the door and mess around the nozzle, I think they'll deal.
Awesome, but I do.
When is it at? When is the season at? June?
Oh, no,
Playoffs, early
first
on?
week of May.
Oh, all right.
Season.
Alright.
So, yeah,
I gotta get to at least one game. I'm working Monday. So if you can just shoot me some dates for home games, I'll fly to Cimarron. And so I really want to see Coach. I want the kids playing. I want to see Coach.
All right, thank you.
That's great.
Have a good one. See ya.
Be safe.
Have a good one. See you.
This is the last agenda item?
I believe so.
So I thought I was gonna have to give like my monthly report last week when we got canceled, but you're good. You're good.
Yeah, I probably could have done a staff report, but it's just like, pretty much it, working on roads.
Yeah.
And water leaks.
No, yeah.
The contractor that they were talking about, that did CES from, you know, the chief was talking with him about their stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, he's supposed to get with me on a new quote, because Chief had mentioned putting in some kind of like a workout room in the back. And I was like, listen, before we do that, we need new flooring. We need, like, the office needs things before I focus on some of the extracurricular activities. So I was like, let's get the flooring done, then we'll get the awning in the back over the entryway, the garage door. And then we can look at building some kind of air conditioned room or just conditioned room, whatever that looks like. For a treadmill and a bike or something, but honestly, I don't know.
I had spoke to chief too about, and I think you might have been involved in that, on the back there, getting some material out in that flat, creating some space. It's just simply been too wet. Obviously, we needed to get going on some road stuff, but I still do want to do that.
You said that you just had extra material you were moving from somewhere else?
Yeah, right there at water department, they have, it'll be good fill material that we can put in and work the grading and then top it off with some material that's gonna stay dry.
One thing that one of my officers had mentioned was the fencing. We would like to try and get better fencing on that back area. Like impound wise, it doesn't work. Like it's not secure enough for the requirements for impound. If we did move the transfer station, then yes, that would work. It's got high enough fencing. If we were to put like some kind of control wire on top of it, then that would work. But anyway, just having, like if we fill it in, then the fence is gonna be.
Yeah, well, what we were talking about isn't going to shorten the fence, just kind of making more of that back space usable.
And then still drop down.
Yeah, we're not gonna try to build the whole square flat,
Okay.
but one, create a better turning radius into the back of your building, but also, hopefully make some space. But now if we're going to upgrade the fence, then we could look at doing the whole footprint and then doing your fence on top of that. But essentially on the kind of the more eastern side, having where it's just a big drop off now, blending all of that in and still having good drainage through there, but making it where you could drive down into that flat without any issues.
Right.
Not too steep of a grade, but enough to shed water, but also not enough of a fill that is going to impact the height of the fence. So.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to be able to like look in the future 20 years and say, okay, this is what we want, and here's our stages that we're moving towards. Because there has been discussion, and I am on board with it, with building a multi-purpose EMS building, right? You have fire and police.
Yeah, good discussion.
Right, and it would make sense. And so if you call that like a 10-year plan, how do we get there by spending the current money we have into that projected possibility? And I don't know what the answer is, but
But also, what's it gonna take to get us by for 10 years too?
Exactly. Yeah, and that's where it's at, right? Yeah. So, I don't know, the spending money on this building, it's still a good building, it's gonna last. And then thinking about, okay, if we did move into another building, what would we turn this building into? What could we use it for? And have that in mind as well as we're making changes. Sure. Yeah. Maybe it can be the new the village citizen center or something to that nature, or library, or something. I don't know. There's, I've noticed some towns, some villages, some cities, they just seem to have their planning together, right? You go in, you go, okay, here's my police department, here's the courthouse, here's village hall, here's, it's done in a way like, man, this is a nice little plaza or a nice set up, and then you have your shopping district that's there, right? Where it's just it's a planned street or roads, and that's where your shopping is, and you have your super. I don't know. I've just been to some towns like, man, they planned this out, right? Yeah. It's like everything looks like it's fits. I like it. Yeah. Because here, what is Main Street? Is it 434 or is it 85 Road? What is Main Street?
Yeah, it's been a struggle, really no central core of the community. Now, there have been people over the years propose plans that would create like a Main Street scenario, where the parking lots are now and through there, and seen some really nice concepts, but it didn't come to fruition.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
There's like never really a city center,
Right.
if you will.
Yeah.
Of course, obviously, I think when this whole area was started, I don't think at that time they were even envisioning it becoming a town. It was going to be a ski area and a golf course. And, I mean, it was the mid '80s before Village of Angel Fire even existed.
Sure.
So
Sure.
the first mayor there is the guy that built the mini mart, the first business. That was,
Oh yeah.
there.
Funny. It's funny, Mexican's not up yet. I don't know. Test. Yeah, it's on.
But no, when a family came up here in 1983, so we saw a lot of changes. There wasn't a village of Angel Fire then. The only police up here was county deputy west, and then Northern Mexico Security was kind of the closest thing to police, which
Yeah.
changed.
Yeah, there's a lot of change now. Yeah. I wonder if you could get a planning committee together where, like Ann has mentioned today, it'd be nice to have, like they do the river walks. Just a sidewalk right there, and you have some nice little eateries that you can walk into, or sit as like a parking or sitting area where you sit on a stream, right? That would be nice, so have someone kind of develop that.
A few years
Is
ago,
what it is.
I don't know if you were here at the time, Beavers built a dam just on the north side of, right here, across from Fire Station 1, where the water backed up. It was this beautiful little lake. And people are, oh my gosh, look at that. There's one walking trail into it. You could do another one on the other side. And we actually, already talked to the engineer about the possibility of doing a coffer dam there to essentially build a lake.
Right.
And potentially a series of them, and do a nice walking area. And there's a lot of potential, it's,
Sure.
and there's been great ideas like that. I think the Plaza del Sol deal they did here, I know that was a hope that it would turn into a central location for some shops and restaurants and stuff like that. And it hasn't happened. I think there's been some really good ideas that the ups and downs of the markets and industries around here. I think a lot of things have gotten very close to happening, and then that's something. It could be the drop in the price of oil, it could be, real estate.
Yeah, I thought that Plaza del Sol was at 2007, 8, I think, in the last market crash. Big market.
Yeah, I think it was actually a little before that. Used to be 2 sewer units there before they built the current wastewater treatment
Really?
facility. The sewer goes back here.
Huh. Who do I contact about, so the rental I'm in over in, Canada area. It's Nancy Birch's. I contacted her. I noticed when the snow melted that there's a septic issue coming underground. And so I said, hey, you got the septic issue? She said, no, that's village water and go to septic over there. Is it? Or is it?
Yes, it is on the village sewer.
It is?
You see, there used to be a sewer lagoon out there.
Uh-huh.
And when the resort put in the RV resort,
Mhm.
they ran sewer over and eliminated that lagoon. So, yeah.
Okay.
It is, yeah, we can.
Yeah, I need to fix. I tried to call today to water, but I called twice. I was just too busy to follow up. No one answered. Amy didn't answer, so I just.
She was running around quite a bit today. But yeah, let me. Make it
It's bubbling up on the other side of the driveway.
What's the address?
40 Campbell Road. Is it Camino del Oro? Why is it?
Yeah, it was. It's gonna look Camino del Oro. You said it was Richmond again?
40. It's that last house all the way back there.
Yeah, we'll take a look and see if we can determine if it's on the main sewer line or the line from the house to the main.
Okay.
So, you said Officer Hicks was going to Europe or something?
Yeah, he was in Germany for 2 weeks. He had planned on going to get his mom's birthday, and it was going to be a big reunion. His mom passed away last week. The trip is just, it was scheduled, so he's still going to Germany. And I said, oh, that's cool. Germany would be nice. This time of year, I mean.
Yeah.
The craziness that is Europe right now. I don't know. I'm sure there's some areas in Germany that you don't want to go to.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind going to Japan again. Japan's fun. That country is pretty stable. They don't have a lot of problems with migrants or China yet.
I got to go to Japan 3 years in a row and really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So it's nice to visit. It's crowded. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But I got to go to ski areas at first, so that was neat. But met some really neat people and some really neat things. And also learned to. Well, I flew into Germany and drove out of Germany, but also flew into Austria also. But it's been quite a few trips to northern Italy and in the Alps. And, It was really incredible.
Hmm.
Really, really neat to see. Officer Higgs would fit in northern Italy because those people, they are always out running.
Are they?
And
So they're very like outdoorsy.
very, very.
That's cool. Italy, aren't they having a problem with I don't know, with all the, I don't know if they've had like the older population. I know a lot of countries are. Greece is having a very bad problem, but I thought Italy was having a problem too with their. So as your population gets older, then your population decreases, so does a lot of your infrastructure, the people that maintain your services, and all that ages. I don't know if they're as far along as Greece, but did you see any issues with services over there?
No, not at all, but also gained the understanding that there's a big difference between northern Italy and southern Italy. Northern Italy, primary language is German.
Is it?
Yeah, it was all that area,
Really?
the Tyrol region was actually part of Austria prior to World War One.
Huh.
All the architecture, culture, everything is still in place. The people that live there don't even refer to themselves as Italians.
Really?
And just like anywhere else, in the big cities, there's different issues, but I know across the whole country, it was a big issue during COVID because there was such a large number of elderly people. And it affected them drastically. But they're, same struggles that we have. Well, I mean, you touched on it in the work session, trying to get, losing people on the top end that are retiring, trying to find a way to get them to,
Hang out for a while.
still be able to hang out for a while and not lose their benefit.
Uh-huh.
I have that situation with the water department. There's 2 guys that have retired from the water department that would love to bring them on even on a part-time basis, but they're here with their
I wonder if can you contract them out?
there are options. We haven't worked out the specifics yet,
So I don't think we can contract police.
but yeah, but I know like a lot of communities are having, particularly with water departments, guys are retiring that have the certifications.
Mhm.
And there's not as many people getting certifications as there are ones retiring.
Right.
So some of the small communities have been able to contract with retired employees. Some people that have retired have actually started another business where they do it for multiple communities.
Mm-hmm.
And, so